All right. This is the Mountain Time Sports Report. I am Don Pablo. Thank you for joining. Coming up today on the show, we got some Rockies news, we got some Nuggets transactions. The League's Cup started in MLS. And of course, more Olympic news and whatever I want to talk about here. From the Mountain Time Zone, Mountain Standard Time Sports Report coming to you from Denver, Colorado. I am Don Pablo. Thanks for listening. You can watch us on Twitch or YouTube Live. Both of them titled Mountain Time Sports Reports. Some subscribers on Twitch, some subscribers on YouTube Premium. YouTube Premium, the best subscription service I've found. No commercials. They're I like them so much, I'll plug them without even getting paid, right? So, all that and more. We're here from Denver. So, let's start with the Rockies because they're the only team that's playing. They played this weekend. We'll get to Denver Broncos training camp here in a minute. Rockies 38-69 on the season. They got to win 25 games to get out of the 100-loss hole as they did last year. I don't know. It's going to be tough to do it, but we'll give kudos for the trade the Rockies did make because they actually got something out of it. They picked a player up off of waivers. Excuse me. And I'm trying to do two things at once here. My fault. But yeah, so a pitcher, he was released by Texas Rangers before they won the title here. And 41 appearances this season for the Rockies. So it looks like, first of all, Bill Schmidt picked somebody up for free. Now we got two prospects. Bud Black, pitching coach, famously or infamously, we'll see, turned him into something, and we traded him to the Brewers for two prospects. And that would be Bradley Blaylock and Eugenio Herrera from Milwaukee. So there's that, and we'll see what we can do with those two players. Blaylock's only 23, and yeah, we'll see. He made Double A, 16 starts, 5-2. So we'll see if he turns into anything. And Herrera is only 20. Came from Venezuela. And high A. So we'll see. We'll see what we can do. Getting a couple prospects, see if we can turn them into something for a middling reliever. You gotta swing for the fences when you're in the Rockies position, especially when you're playing a player like Chris Bryant to not play, and do whatever he does, right? So there's the Rockies. They are going on a West Coast road trip this week with the Los Angeles Dodgers for 3, and then going to San Diego for 3. So I get some late night baseball. I like the late night baseball just to switch over. After my wife goes to sleep, I'll get do whatever I want, and I'll probably watch some Rockies. See what happens. Let's get some wins. We'll see. Avoid that 100-loss season again. And even though they're hitting their attendance goals for sure, because people, man, it was so full. I don't understand. I don't. Maybe the midweek games they're not doing too well, but the rest of the season they still got Los Angeles. The Yankees are coming, I believe, and St. Louis Cardinals coming, and so there's a couple big team names that people would want to watch, that are from Denver that not necessarily want to go watch for the Rockies and the Braves. Nope, they're going to Atlanta. So there's that. But those Cubs games, they got a weekend mid-September. Those are going to be sold out. They probably already are sold out. So there's that for the Rockies. Enough Rockies talk. We'll start with the bad news now. We'll get to the good news. Denver Broncos first pads of training camp today. It's Monday, July 29th. And, it's the first day still. It's, running without pads is like, we're just looking at cones. We're doing drills. Put the pads on, start hitting. And you can only put the pads on so many practices now, and you can never hit the quarterback. So, how much you can do, but we'll see what the defensive line, offensive line looks like, linebackers, cornerbacks, all those guys. Maybe some running backs, although they don't hit too hard. Wide receivers, you're not supposed to hit them too hard, but it's more for the big boys. So you just hope everything's going to be positive at this point. There's not even fights yet in the camp from practicing and seeing these guys every single day. So it's still early, right? Still early. We still got 2 weeks, 13 days until the first preseason game, which Broncos will be going to Indianapolis. Where they actually built a pool for the USA Championships this past, I think a month ago in June. And now the USA swimming team, they've already won 9 medals in the pool so far in the Olympics. They have won 20 overall so far, the United States. 11 medals in the pool. So they've already a third of the way to where they got in Tokyo 3 years ago. Of course, Summer Olympics happening in 2021 because of the pandemic in 2020. So the Broncos will be playing in that. They built a pool to do the USA Championships, and that was so successful. And they had a record every night. Obviously the finals and everything, they build it up to the end. They had a record amount of people watching the USA Championships every night. So good and it was so successful that they're going to do that in Stan Kroenke, owner of Nuggets Avalanche and Colorado Rapids. They're going to put that in SoFi Stadium for the Olympics, the next Summer Olympic Games in 2028. That'll be in Los Angeles. So they're going to build a pool in that stadium. They had a Super Bowl there. Obviously, it hosts the Chargers and the Rams, and now they're going to have Olympic swimming there. It's a trivia question, right? Because who would put a pool in there? So anyway, interesting stuff. Other than that, for Broncos practice, the big story this year is the quarterback competition because they drafted Bo Nix, number 12 overall. See if he can run Sean Payton's offense. And, they're going to be positive. Is it the level of positivity that we see from the ownership, the bigwigs and the coaches? Ownership's always going to be positive until they turn on you and they fire and wish you the best in your career, but especially quarterbacks. So, we'll see what Bo Nix does. And he's very experienced, right? 47 starts across Auburn and Oregon. He played, in Oregon, it's similar to Sean Payton, kind of dump off, short pass. Hopefully you could turn it into a big game, yards after catch kind of offense. And he played pretty well. And they're Sean Payton's guy. So Sean Payton's whole career with the Broncos, I'm going to say, depends on this guy. Just like George Patton, his career with the Broncos depends on Sean Payton. So this is their guy. You only get so many quarterback picks. You only get so many coaching hires. And this is going to be a big year. Obviously, the rookie quarterback might, he'll get a grace year and maybe higher expectations next year. And the Broncos, they were 2 games out of playoffs in Payton's first year. And Russell Wilson is not even playing for the Steelers right now. He was sick. So they're seeing what Justin Fields can do. Justin Fields starting over Russell Wilson at the moment, although we haven't even played a preseason game yet. So take that for what it's worth. Also, I'm not a Russell Wilson guy. I remember a host for one of the shows at the station I worked on that played in the NFL. he hears about the big contract that Russell Wilson got, and he's like, he hasn't even played it down yet. He hasn't even played a game for the Broncos yet. What happened? And I hate to be all negative, but it's counteracting the all positiveness of Russell Wilson. So it's like let's take it down a notch. We're trying to equalize, right? But I just want to remind people. Russell Wilson said he's playing to 45, but because Tom Brady did, but no, who has two players? Was it? Who was it? George Blanda? Who's the other player and he was a punter. He punted or something. So those are unicorns. They don't happen that often. You don't recognize Dave Craig, Josh McCown, played forever. Vinny Testaverde, probably. Johnny Unitas, right? Junior Seau, that's the only one of the hard hitting positions. Jason Peters. Yeah, it doesn't, these guys aren't winning Super Bowls after they turn 40. Clay Matthews, one of the linemen. Man, and he played linebacker too. That's hardcore. Bruce Matthews. All right. I guess there's some people, but as far as quarterbacks, you're not Tom Brady. And Russell Wilson, you already were getting hurt a lot in Seattle, and that's what led to your numbers going down. And then you obviously getting traded to the Broncos. But at least the Russell Wilson trade was not the worst trade made the last couple of years. That would be the Panthers to the Bears, enabling the Bears to get the number 1 overall pick this year. And I can't believe the Carolina Panthers, man, they're so bad they give up. That's a rough one. And your owner is the new Dan Snyder of the NFL. It all started when the Broncos beat the Panthers at Super Bowl 50 and made Cam Newton press conferences a thing. All right. It's enough of beating a dead horse there. So we'll see what happens in training camp. Only thing that really could happen, positive or negative, is injuries. Let's just not have any injuries. Let's keep them away. And I know saying it is not the popular thing, but that's just, we're rooting for not injured players. Let's get through the first couple weeks of practice at least, and then we'll see where it goes. Like I said, August 11th, first Denver Broncos game at Indianapolis. And nobody even plays that day. There's only 3 preseason games. Barely play the first game. Play, maybe a quarter or 2 in the second, and then nobody plays the third game because that's for the bottom end of the roster. So, all right. There's your Rockies. There's your Broncos. Let's go to the Nuggets, who they did acquire Russell Westbrook. Finally, 2-year deal. Westbrook gets the player option on the second year. And I'll take it, man. He's 35. I don't understand why people are so negative on who of his caliber are we going to get that was around the league right now? And if you remember correctly, the Nuggets, we can turn our veteran players, into something. DeAndre Jordan, and he doesn't play that much, but he's a veteran presence and a positive one. Obviously, they won the title, but he knows how to be an NBA professional. Doesn't mess around. He keeps the rookies in line, gives them somebody to look up to. And I was just thinking about Russell Westbrook. It's this might be his last stop, right? But at this point, if he just wants to win a ring and he sells out to win a ring, all right, it's going to be like Carmelo Anthony in the Olympics where he's playing defense. Also, Russell, He knows how to be a teammate. All right. We watch Jokic as Nuggets fans contributing triple doubles every other game, every third game, and he's really close almost every other game. One away, one assist away, one rebound away. So let's just remember, Russell Westbrook averaged a triple double for a season. So he contributed to all around game, every game for a season. He has the most triple doubles of any player, and it's by 50 something over Jokic. So, point guards, he is a point guard. Generally, they lose their shooting first. But, if you go over Russell, he's a scoring champion. He was a scoring champion. And what year was that? That was, two-time scoring champion. It was 2015 and 2017, so almost 10 years ago. I guess that would be 10 years ago if you count it towards the end of this season, which will be in 2025. So, scoring champion twice, 3-time assist leader. So it was, he's a guy like, they talked about, I think there's a Kobe story. He was like, well, you can't get 20 assists today. And then he went out and did it. He's like, all right, I got just assists. Oh, I just got points. I just dropped a 50 bomb on somebody because they were talking trash. And I think Russell Westbrook is one of the guys, he could just put his mind to it and do that, right? He wants to win a title. He can go out there and do it. I understand 35, but it's not like we're asking him to be the 1 or even 1A guy on the Nuggets. If he's replacing Reggie Jackson, he's going to be 6th man. Now, if he's replacing KCP, but I don't think we're going to give him 30 minutes a game. Maybe 6th man, maybe when the playoffs start. Hopefully we can rely on him more. But he's been pretty durable in his career. And it has taken him many places. But who else has played on 5 teams? Shaq played on 5 teams. Jason Kidd, Chris Paul. There's been lots of Hall of Famers to play on many different teams. And I understand Shaq really didn't do much, but then there's the guys that hung on, right? Karl Malone went to the finals with the Lakers. Didn't win it at the end. And I understand maybe he's a genetic, aberration. But Russell Westbrook, look, he's led the league in scoring and in assists. How many people can say that? LeBron? And I had a friend, and I swear I try not to be mean. I swear I just try to explain it like, what do you talk like, come on, man. Like, my friend said, well, I don't think he's a Hall of Famer. I'm like, you don't think Russell Westbrook is a Hall of Famer? And I was like, what? He's like, he's an MVP, 2017 MVP. All right. 9-time All-Star. Maybe you could argue that doesn't. 9 times. That's like a decade worth of being one of the best players in the league. Okay. All NBA first team twice, second team 5 times, third team 2 times. So 9 times All NBA team. All right. That's the top 15. That's cream of the crop, even more than an All-Star. You're one of the top 15 players in the league for 10 years. For 10 years. All right. Like I said, 2-time scoring champ, 3-time assist leader. And this is the only thing that should be said. That you can take all those other stats. The guys that know basketball the most, and they did a 50th anniversary team in 99, right? And, Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen still playing. A bunch of players on the team still playing. And So 25 years later, 75th anniversary. And I think it was actually a couple of years ago. So anyway, Westbrook made that. So one of the top 75 best players of all time in 75 years in the league. And I'm just like, what do you know? I don't know how, like, if you don't think he's a Hall of Famer, I don't know, man. You must be a baseball Hall of Fame voter because, and people don't get in that one. It takes so much to get in the Baseball Hall of Fame, but basketball is not even like that. But to be recognized as one of the top 75 best players of all time, I don't know. I was trying to not be nice and not be mean, but that should be the only thing that you have to say. So, there's that argument. If you don't think he's Hall of Famer, fine. I don't want to argue anymore. So we're going to put him, and obviously he's 35, put him on the Nuggets. And to be the veteran guy that, he's at the end of his career. And the Nuggets, we've had many of those guys on our team. And if you remember DeMarcus Cousins in the late 2000s, early 2010s, just being, for lack of a better term, a knucklehead many times. And then he came to the Nuggets as the veteran leader guy, and he was actually doing the role. Obviously, he didn't stick, but he played that role because he was with Jokic and he wanted to win something, right? Although I think he did win a title with the Warriors when the first run they had. Anyway, so Cousins eventually came around in the end and, was the veteran leader. Now DeAndre Jordan. Now Russell Westbrook will have a couple old guys on the team that can hang out. And then it'll be the rookies on the team that can hang out. So I just think that he knows he's been around long enough and he knows what maybe the game needs to win. And obviously, the Clippers didn't go far in the playoffs. But, every team's makeup is different, right? And I don't know what else was going to be out there for the Nuggets who are in the salary cap situation that they're in. Everybody in the NBA is trying to avoid the second apron, as they say. But I don't have enough time to talk about that today because the second apron is a bird of a different color. Anyway, so I think Russell Westbrook's going to bring something to the team that we need. Obviously, he can still play defense. Being 35, the team the Nuggets lost to in Minnesota, which I thought gave him the best, challenge 2 years ago when they won the title in 23. I think it's going to help us. Losing Bruce Brown and KCP, and allegedly Bruce Brown wants to come back, but Nuggets can't trade for him, and that the salary he has is going to be tough. But who knows how we can make that work? But and like I've been saying, by the way, Jokic needs to recruit, and he's in the Olympics right now, and one of the guys that he's playing with, Nikola Jovic, who's on the Heat. I'm like, let's get that guy over here. Obviously, we got Dario Saric, who people forget, and there's some three-point shooting right there. And hopefully he won't defer because I think the other problem the Nuggets have is sometimes they defer too much to Nikola and just wait for him to shoot. But I think Russell Westbrook's not going to have that issue, right? Because he's running offense. He knows, obviously – and last year, by the way, he had a 15-point, 15 rebound, 15 assist game. So it's not that far away. And now he's resting, he's, exercising, getting his fitness level up for the season. So and it was in this calendar year that the 15-15-15 game happened. So I feel like he knows how to win a game. He knows how to run a team. And obviously it's going to take some time to get used to playing with Jokic. But I just think that he has the smarts. And by the way, one of the greatest 75 players in NBA history, trying to get that ring, a veteran, of course, and having a little pressure taken off of him because he doesn't have to be the number one guy. I think it's a very good move for the Nuggets. Now we just need them to recruit some other guys and everybody wanted to trade Michael Porter. I don't think it's happening. Maybe before the trade deadline, but so many things have to change. His contract actually hasn't. Porter Jr.'s contract actually hasn't started yet. His extension, anyway. So very difficult to move off that. The flexibility on the salary cap is also another issue the Nuggets have. So to get a player of the caliber of Westbrook, I think the Nuggets fans and Nuggets should consider themselves very lucky to have that. Going forward, we'll see what happens. This is Mountain Time Sports Report, Mountain Standard Time Sports Report. I am Don Pablo. You can download the podcast on Google Podcasts and don't have to look at my ugly mug, which is fine with me. Although you can see the video, I got some soccer business back there, the calendar, the Nugget stuff, the Ev stuff. I got the Broncos walls on this side. So I'll spare all you people the Broncos wall. It's fun, though. It's a fun wall. It's fun. I don't have my Broncos flag out. I could put that out. I'm saving that for a Broncos playoff game, which we haven't seen one since Super Bowl 50. But at least the last one was memorable and glorious. And a heck of a night. Heck of a night. That's all I'm going to say about that. All right. Since this is the Mountain Time Sports Report, I would feel bad if I didn't speak about other teams in the time zone. Arizona's in Pacific time for a couple more months here, so maybe I'll spare them. Although I do like following the Phoenix Suns because their owner, he wants to win real bad, and he's spending a lot of his index mutual fund money to do that. And the Suns did make the finals a couple years ago, but maybe the Kevin Durant, and Kevin Durant's on a tear right now in the Olympics. We'll see how that works out. Nuggets took care of them easily 2 years ago on their way to a championship. Obviously, they have the Diamondbacks, who they made a couple trades too. I'll get to that tomorrow probably. I'm going to do a Rapids rant tomorrow. But the Utah Jazz, I just keep hearing that they're going to trade Lauri Markkanen. And I'm cool if he comes to the Nuggets, although what are we going to give him? Michael Porter Jr.? I'd do that trade. Maybe not. I don't know. Michael Porter Jr., he did have back issues. Obviously, he's been pretty stable since he missed his whole rookie season. And they say back issues are like the hardest thing to play with as a professional athlete. Because once you mess that up, it's, your back is, the middle. Like your arms, your back is the central, one of the central part of your body. Obviously, houses the nervous system. Anyway, I want to see some Lauri Markkanen, and ever since Danny Ainge went to Utah, he's kind of been building it the right way. Got rid of Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert. And, he tried with them, tore it down. Now they got new owners. Danny Ainge, he's trying to win with them. And their owners actually bought the Utah Hockey Club, is what they're going to be known as this year. We'll see what name they come up with. But, if the teams I'm worried about as a Nuggets fan, it would be Oklahoma City, Minnesota, and then the Jazz in our division anyways, in the Nuggets division. So we're on top, although we missed out by one game last year. If you replace Reggie Jackson with Russell Westbrook, we win the division. The Nuggets win the division easily. So, we still got 8 weeks till the season starts, right? So, or even in training camp at the beginning of October. So, still got months. The Olympics are happening. United States defeats Serbia. So LeBron James, second win over Jokic in the last 2 years. Although Anthony Edwards looks good, and I'm kind of worried. Although Minnesota's kind of in the same cap situation as the Nuggets. And the other point I was going to make about Oklahoma and why I'm so worried about them is their general manager, Sam Presti, 3 players on the NBA 75th anniversary team were Oklahoma City guys that made it to the finals: Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Westbrook. And if that dude, and now he has Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, Chet Holmgren, the dude that came from Chicago that wears the headband that played on LA's championship team that I can't remember his name now. Man, Oklahoma might have gone better. And that's not good. That's not good news for the Nuggets. So, and I was more scared of them than the Timberwolves. Although the Timberwolves, we had them down 20 points in Game 7, the Nuggets anyway. And obviously what happened. Although Timberwolves got dispatched real easy in the Western Conference Finals. But playoffs is a game of matchups, so that's just how it is. But, that's NBA season. That's months away. Although I'll talk Nuggets basketball every day if I have to. Also, Avalanche real quick. Nassim Kadri, who was on the Stanley Cup winning team a couple summers ago, went to Calgary. He wants out of Calgary. I don't know if there's an Avalanche reunion coming, but obviously he won here. And, maybe that's the thing. Although we got him from Pittsburgh, it doesn't matter. So we'll see what happens there. Also, that training camp, a little bit less away in time, but whatever. So let's turn to MLS. They had the Leagues Cup. Colorado Rapids don't start until Thursday, August 1st in a couple days. They'll be at Portland. Portland already started their Leagues Cup against Lyon, hosting them last night, Sunday the 28th. And Lyon scored early. I think in 6 minutes, right? 6 minutes. And then Portland, they had it leveled by halftime. Zach McGraw. And then in 90th minute, there's another corner kick. The first goal was on a corner kick. Second goal was on a corner kick. Zach McGraw scored again. And the Timbers win at home over Lyon, who now, I don't know if they're already in Colorado, but they'll be here. They don't play until the 5th. So next Monday, week from today. But, man, they went out of there. Portland, they've won 6 of their last 8 games. And that's who Rapids going to play this Thursday, also in Portland. So there's that. Obviously, their first match of the season in Portland. Rapids' only national TV game of the year, unless we make the playoffs and get on national TV. They lost. They gave up 4. The Rapids gave up 4 in the first half. Got one back in the second, and lost 4-1 in Portland. They get to make another trip there this week. Portland struggling early despite their win against the Rapids. But in the last 2 months, like I said, 6 of 8 they've won. So it's going to be a tough matchup for the Rapids. And we're missing Georgi Mihailovic. And also Kevin Cabral, who just got hurt. So there's that. And Lyon, they're going to be fighting for their tournament life next Monday. So we'll see what happens with the Rapids. But they got a couple tough games coming up. They had a week off here last week, so hopefully they rested up. And, the Kevin Cabral thing, he's out for 2 months, and he might not make it back until – sorry, he's out for 3 months. He might not make it back until the last game of the regular season, October 20th. It's in Austin. So Rapids having some adversity, although the thing I'm really worried about is they're giving up the first goal. They're conceding first in the last few matches, and they've got results 3 out of 4 times. And then LA Galaxy, they just got in too big of a hole. But and then Cabral got a red card too, which is half a soft red. It's kind of deserved, but half a soft red card. whatever. It is what it is. So Rapids lost that game. LA Galaxy's on a tear, though. And even, being down and then coming back to be within one, there's a half a victory. Don't want to go to Los Angeles in the playoffs because we don't even play. The Rapids don't play well there in the regular season. So forget about the playoffs. I just want a home playoff game because the last one left a bad taste in everybody's mouth. Portland, Thanksgiving, was 65 degrees outside and wonderful weather. And then I'll never forget the Portland media relations people, like, for not only cheering and then like being yelling. Like, I don't know. I mean, I'm objective up there mostly. I don't cheer. I know that. Although the show is Rapids Rant, so they know they know where my allegiances lie, right? Whatever. So just want a Rapids home playoff game, which they are in fourth place in the Western Conference in the MLS as we speak. So they do have that. They are, after their win against Salt Lake and the Rocky Mountain Cup last week, they're not far out of first place, although they would have to hop Salt Lake and both LA teams. So that's some tough sledding. Then not only is Portland coming up this weekend, they're coming up. We have to play them again, and I think they play the Galaxy again too. So Rapids, it doesn't get easier. Elsewhere in Leagues Cup, just because that's the big thing that's happening. And by the way, for MLS, you have to have Apple TV Plus or MLS Plus on Apple TV, and whatever. So to watch the leagues, you can watch all the Leagues Cup games, all the regular MLS season games. They do a free week sometimes. I talk about that on Rapids Rant. You can find that on any podcast subscription service. I do host that one. It's just a little differently. I do go live sometimes here on Twitch and YouTube for that show. But I do it compared to, and I get more fun, interesting soccer guests who, I would say soccer guys a little more worldly than football, or my best sport, NFL football / college football, whatever. So the other surprising score was San Jose, last place in the West, hosting Chivas, and they sent Chivas packing. It was 1-1. San Jose won on penalty kicks, but San Jose, they went up in the 8th minute, and they held on until the 90. It was 90+4 in stoppage time. Chivas got a header, and San Jose, I gave them credit, man. They held on for such a long time, and they played in Levi Stadium, so not even their regular home field. And then they went ahead and won on penalty kicks. So San Jose, good job beating Chivas. I think they were surprised. New York City, forgive me, Quartaro on penalty kicks. That was a scoreless draw. Kansas City beats Chicago 2-1. St. Louis over Dallas. St. Louis and Dallas, a couple lower of the table teams in the Western Conference. Miami beat Puebla 2-0. Philadelphia over Charlotte 1-0. Toronto beats the Red Bull in New York 5-4 on penalties. Mazatlan lost. New England shuts out Mazatlan. That's the last place. So both the last place teams in the East and the West won their Leagues Cup opener. Okay. All right. Interesting way. Tijuana was served up at BMO Stadium. LAFC 3-0. Atlas beats Houston 1-0. Austin over Pumas 3-2. Orlando over Montreal 4-1. And DC United beats Atlanta 6-5 on penalty kicks. That was a 3-3 match. That was in Atlanta. So interesting first weekend of Leagues Cup. It doesn't end. There's Tuesday games Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday games, Saturday and Sunday. There's a lot. There's almost MLS Leagues Cup on every night. All on Apple TV. Oh, and they're all free on not all free on Apple TV. There's a couple let's see. Coming up the 30th, Monterrey visits Austin. That's on FS1, free on Apple TV. That's also on Spanish national TV, Unimas. Other free game, DC United hosts Santos Laguna. That's on FS1. That's Wednesday night. Funny, I've been to these Mexican teams that are playing, about Juarez, Mazatlan, Tijuana. Been to those places down there. Whatever that means, there you go. So, although I'd like to go to their stadiums, but that's a trip of a different color, a different situation. Nashville hosts Mazatlan. That is not free. Apple TV free. Puebla and Tigres. They're playing in Houston. So Houston gets to play 2 Mexico teams. That's cool. That's cool for them. I wish the Rapids could play 2 Liga Mex teams. Oh, that would be fun. Elsewhere, the 1st of August, that's actually when the Rapids play, 8:30 p.m. Mountain Time in Portland. The free game is Chicago versus Toluca in SeatGeek Stadium. Is that Atlas plays in Salt Lake an hour before the Rapids, so maybe I'll watch that. Hopefully Salt Lake loses. As a Rapids fan, I understand this is Mountain Time Sports Report, but I'll cover Salt Lake, and I'll try to be objective. I'll be objective for everything except for Real Salt Lake. All right. It's going to be rough because Salt Lake Jazz, Utah Jazz are in Nuggets division. Utah hockey club is going to be in the Avalanche division. I don't know. Sometimes these days the talent, you know who they're rooting for. So I might as well be objective. Also, you can see it on the wall in my back of my room. So there's that too. But elsewhere, some free games. Cruz Azul at Philadelphia. That's Sunday the 4th. That's a 6 p.m. game. And Tijuana versus Vancouver on Saturday night. That's a free Apple TV. And another free Apple TV, Pumas and Monterrey in Austin. So there's a free game on Apple TV or national TV every night pretty much this week for Leagues Cup. So there's that. I don't know what their TV deal is with the networks that MLS and Liga MX have, but definitely not as good as a WNBA TV deal that just happened last week that I broke down on. I think it was Friday's Mountain Time Sports Report, which I don't how did WNBA got on the gravy train of TV money. How did MLS not capitalize on it? Although if you're Messi and you're getting a percentage of every sign up that Apple TV has, I'm pretty proud of that guy. Excuse me. This is iced tea lemonade, by the way. No alcohol, none of that stuff. It is brown iced tea lemonade. Arnold Palmer, finest drink ever made. And by the way, one of the best ones I ever had. They used to have a PGA Tour tournament down here in Castle Pines called the International, and I covered that for a radio station I used to work at on the sports show, and their iced tea lemon. It's like I built it up too much that nothing can ever come close to it. Nothing will ever be as good as the iced tea lemonade I had on the PGA Tour, the Arnold Palmer. Anyway, there's that. I've been going for what? Almost an hour, right? 45 minutes. I don't really have that much more to talk about Mountain Time Zone. We're in the middle of kind of a dead period in sports this summer. People enjoying outside. events other than sitting in a stadium where you can get some air conditioning. I will be going on a camping trip here next week, which is why, although we will be watching the Broncos preseason game that day, for the record. Anyway, I guess that'll do it, man. I'm going to be here tomorrow doing a rapid rant, probably in case something else happens on the Colorado sports front / Utah / Arizona, although they thumb their noses at the Mountain Time Zone 6 months out of the year. And I try to see like Montana and I think Edmonton is in the Mountain Time Zone too. So does it count if Canada, and there's a bunch of Liga MX teams that are in the Mountain Time Zone too. So I guess I should maybe look into that, since I do brand myself as that, right? All right. That's it for the Mountain Time Zone today. You can find us on Twitch and YouTube live. Comment. Let me know on Twitter, Don Pablo303, Don Pablo303. Don't pay attention to the political things that I talk about. Maybe I should make one just for Mountain Time Sports Report. But, that's like, got to make a new email, all this stuff. Anyway, it's a lot of logistical things that maybe I don't want to do. Subscribe to the YouTube, to the Twitch. You don't have to subscribe. Just follow me on Twitch. There's not even a way to give me money on that platform yet. So follow it there. If you have a question, comment, leave it on YouTube. I'll answer it most likely. I do get DMs on Twitter. You could just ask me questions, and I will usually go into it. Just like I talked about Russell Westbrook. Is he a Hall of Famer or not? I don't understand why that's a question, because if I really looked it up and see who they put in the Hall of Fame, for basketball anyway, he's easy, MVP. There's 70. There's players that didn't even get on the team that were a part of this. They didn't make the 75 greatest players in the NBA that are Hall of Famers. So they left people out of that list. All right, I'm done with that. So I don't know. We can't. I'm glad he's a Nugget. I would rather have his jersey than Allen Iverson jersey. I'll tell you that. All right, that's going to do it for Mountain Time Sports Report. It's the Mountain Time Sports Report. Like and subscribe. Thank you. If you've listened this far, God bless you. And don't forget to take care of yourselves